Hey everybody, and welcome back to this episode of Sagevivor Season 5, The Golden Age All-Stars. In the last episode, we just saw Cam get the boot. In this episode, we spun the wheel again, and we got Season 2 once again. This cast has an innate ability to get the same wheel spin over and over and over, and you'll kind of see that later down the line. But for this episode, it is Season 2, so 2 people are going into the dueling arena yet again. Let's get straight into the tea. Friendly reminder, if you haven't already, smash that like button for me down below to show your support for the series and consider subscribing. It not only helps myself, but it does help out the cast of Sagevivor. The better that these episodes do, the more that I can kind of turn around and reinvest into Sagevivor. But anyways, let's get right back into it.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, we're here. This is my better half. The one interesting person that's a part of my life. Say hi.
Hi.
Yes,
Fingers in the way.
I know. Just kind of wanted to, I haven't done a video confessional for a few days, so I probably need to do that. Last round was a bit shitty. So I just lost Ethan, and it was not looking good. I don't think my name was out there originally, but things happened. Why can I not think of anything that happened? Yeah, the challenge sucked. I had to end up abstaining, just like 7 other players. We abstained from the challenge because it fucking sucked. But yeah, so then Johnny, my target, one of my targets won immunity. And then it was another double tribal to where the top 2 vote getters get voted out and then one comes back. So that was fun. That looks like my car. Anyways.
Do you need help here?
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're not any better at this. Let me hold it.
I got your face.
Okay.
Is anybody in there?
Shut up. So like, then Wrath made an alliance with basically all the messy players. Me, him, Vintage, Mason, Gumby. I'm surprised it took as long to leak as it did. It actually lasted till after Tribal before someone leaked it. So we were gonna vote together because we were like, we're all the big threats and the messy players, we need to stick together. That was working. Because Mia's was fucked. Because she got voted out last time and won and came back. So people are just gonna vote her again. Just gonna vote her again. But the other one, some people wanted Jordy, some people wanted James. I wanted to protect James because I felt bad because I voted him out in the pre-merge and he came back. And I kind of enjoy talking to him, so I was like, yeah, I'd rather Jordy. So I tell James his name is out there, and that the only way to save him is to vote Jordy. You wanna know what he does? Makes an alliance with himself, Jordy, Mia, and Vintage. And they decide to all vote me. I find out about this and try to save myself by, we were gonna do a 4-4-4 split with me, Mia, and James, because we thought Johnny was on our side. He was not. He was just bullshitting us to mess up the plan and get Mia voted out with me. And it worked. Mia got 3 votes. I got 4 votes. Jordy and James both got 2. It was scuffed. But yeah, so I went to Redemption or whatever. And Mia's really good at challenges. They're like, oh fuck, I'm screwed. And then the challenge, Survivor trivia. And I'm a nerd. So I cooked her. And now I'm back in the game. We're in the final 9. I still have my extra vote. Because I saw the writing on the wall. I knew I had to use the extra vote and go home. Or don't use it and go home. So I decided to save it. Just in case I, won the duel. And I did. So I have an extra vote and an Idle Nullifier in the final 9. And I'm exiled. So I'm guaranteed final 8. I'm back in the hotel. I didn't see the hotel the first time. I'll look around. There might be some stuff there for me to find. There might not be. I'll find out. It'll be alright. Final 9, bitches. Say hi.
Hi.
Peace.
Hey y'all. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I just like have not had the most motivation for this org. Sorry to production, it's not your guys' fault. It's just like where I am personally currently, and partially the way things have went down, and again, that's not y'all, it's just me. I'm still gonna fight it out, because it's my... I agreed to fight it out, you know, whether that's another week or another cycle or whatever. But yeah, I want to be upfront and honest with y'all. Again, it's nothing against production. Like I think the twists are fun. The formatting is good. The hosting is good. I really like that music challenge. But it's just where I'm at. Yeah. Try to push James today, partially because I'm hoping that it either works out and I, build myself some credibility, or it doesn't and I make myself a target and more likely to go home soon, honestly. We'll see how that goes.
Oh my god, this vote is fucking crazy. Okay, so let's just, I guess, go down, explain what's happened. Okay, so I'm just gonna make multiple confessionals because last time I didn't split them all up, and I don't want a fucking 20-minute long one and one 20-minute long confessional, or 4 or 5-minute ones, so whatever. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Originally, so Johnny wins immunity and James wants to go for Wrath. I know Wrath's in deep shit here because I know that a lot of people are just scared of Wrath, right? So I tell Wrath before the challenge results, the night before the challenge results, I told him to make a Big Threats alliance with Danny, Vintage, Gumby, Mason, and him. And I told him to specifically leave me out of it. And I told him I was like, because we cannot seem like a duo. If we seem like a duo, one of us is fucked. Because these people are position jockeys and they're going to try to weaken players. It's like, if we make them believe that we're against each other, they will leave us both in. And at first that worked. Because people jumped to Wrath's defense because they believed they could use him as a shield kind of extra vote thing, a number for them, which was the plan when James started pushing Wrath. And then Wrath, I obviously leaked to Wrath immediately, and James tried getting Danny and Mia on board and also accidentally told Mason. And then I went to, and so me, Mason, Danny, all leaked to Wrath. I also told Rosie and Vintage, and Rosie and Vintage told Wrath, but that's not that important. What's more important is that Danny and Mason also leaked to Wrath, and in that alliance chat that I told Wrath to make. And so, sorry, I got a text. And so it looks like Wrath is fine, and we're all set for it. So then for a little bit, it looked like it could be James and Wrath in, because obviously Wrath started counter pushing James, but then Wrath was trying to get a plan together to send both James and Mia in. And obviously I don't want that. I wanted one of Gumby, Danny, Mason in. Less so Mason, but more so Gumby and Danny. And then, so then I push to, so then it does get back to James that Wrath is pushing him, and also Johnny wanted James out since the beginning anyway. And it gets back to, so then Danny and, I think Danny and maybe Gumby, or Danny and Mason, I think, leak to James and tell him to vote for me to make it, to send me in the duel over him. and that's kind of where we are now. Is me, James. So in James's eyes, I was never loyal. I was always loyal and didn't betray the Wrath plan. So then me, by default, me, Mia, and James became a trio, which is what I wanted, because if me and Wrath spread out, we can control enough votes to control what happens here. So then me, Mia, and James are like, well, shit. Like, we're definitely, like, people are protecting Wrath. We have to pivot, and we were like, okay, maybe Gumby. And then I knew that I could get Vintage on our side, because I know Vintage, like, just doesn't really give much of a shit, but trusts me and Wrath. Anyway, so as long as Vintage is having fun, I think he doesn't give a shit. So yeah. I started pushing the idea of we could just vote Gumby. So I was like, we can vote Gumby and they'll just vote whoever, and it will probably be one of us, and as long as we vote together, we give ourselves our best shot. But the problem was Danny, Gumby, and Mason were like, well, we prefer James here over Jordy, obviously, because why wouldn't they? Because they're terrified of me, and they know, and unfortunately Wrath didn't understand the point of making it seem like we're not together, because Wrath is too honest. He doesn't know how to lie. And so he's like, I don't want to vote for Jordy, and that makes the other people in that alliance want to vote for me more. And it's like, I don't think he understands that. But the more you defend someone, the more everyone else wants to go for them. And that's what he doesn't understand. So then they start going, so now they're really gung-ho about getting me out. And essentially the plan right now, I actually guess I don't have to split this all up. But basically I have an extra vote that I found a long time ago. And I'm pretty sure it's the only extra vote left in the game. And me, Vintage, Mia, and James, so our trio plus Vintage, who we had already discussed going for Gumby, and we were all pretty confident that, like, none of us have leaked that, because it didn't get leaked until Johnny found out. So we're pretty confident. So like, we're pretty confident we all four were into that, and we're like agreeing to vote together. And then we've all decided to vote for Danny, because he's like he's a bigger threat than Gumby, and it's just like a move, like, we're just like, fuck this, like, let's go for a bigger dog, which is Danny. And then, but obviously me on the side, I'm in cahoots with Vintage and Wrath. I had a call with them, and I gave Wrath my extra vote so that Wrath, Rosie, Johnny, and the extra vote can vote for Mia, and it'll be Mia and Danny in the duel, because Mia is a strong physical competitor who can knock Danny out of the game. And it also, it just prevents me from going in the duel, because I would rather not. I wanted to save the extra vote for a demerge, in case there was ever a really close tiebreaker that I wanted to break in my favor. But I think this is a better call, because I would much rather not go again in a duel against Danny or Mia. So I want to avoid this duel, especially because afterwards I think the game will shake up a little bit. People will probably be mad at Wrath for playing an extra vote, and I think if I can send Danny out with Mia doing it, that's a really, really good underhanded, like, behind the scenes move I've made. Like, this entire round I've influenced how this round has played out so much more than it seems to everyone but Wrath. And then Vintage knows a little bit more than everyone else, but Wrath knows the most. And then it's James and Mia, and then it's everyone else. So unless like people are lying and I somehow and it isn't going to be 4-4-3 with Mia and Danny going in, maybe an advantage is played on Danny or something. I don't really know, but it doesn't really matter. I've done what I can, and if I go into a duel, then I'll kick whoever's ass it is I'm in with. I'll kick their ass.
Okay, I want to say for starters that this challenge was ass. Literally, like, I was thinking about, maybe I could do it like before I go to work or during my lunch. But I kept reading like the instructions, and I'm just like, what is this? Like, first of all, I was talking about like a website, sound, then colors, and I was like, it's not clicking in my brain. And then they're like, oh yeah, there's also numbers. And I'm just like, okay, still not clicking in my fucking brain. But eventually I'll get it. But of course, like I was busy with work. I was busy when I got out of work. And then, like, now, when I had to face the challenge, I'm like, okay, I got this. I made a fool out of myself and didn't follow instructions at first. But once I finally got the hang of it, I'm like, oh, okay, like, I could do this, But then I kept submitting stuff that, like, just sounded the same, but it just, like, wasn't, I guess. Which is ridiculous, but, whatever, I DNF'd. So did, like, everybody else, essentially. And I was kind of hoping Johnny would win because, yeah, I did try to vote him out before, but like he seemed to be kind of like giving like underdog vibes, or to others, he's been giving, at least from what I heard, like goatee type vibes. And I think he even admitted himself that like people seem to drag him along to the end. And I'm just like, yeah, I feel like that's how people are going to see me too. Is what I told him. And then I even said like, you have potential to like essentially do something and make yourself known to do something and build a resume, and like you have that potential. And he said the same thing for me. However, the one thing I lack is motivation. Yeah, I'm still in this fucking game, so like I don't know. I'm just trying to ride along the waves. Like I already know I'm no damn challenge beast. Like I said earlier, there was like a 30% chance I was gonna fucking win. Turns out it was 0. As far as this goes, right off the bat, right after this challenge is ending, I'm not sure. However, people are starting to mention Wrath, which is interesting. And literally, like when I was driving, like on my lunch break earlier, I had just finished messaging a couple people, and then I was thinking to myself, like, well, not while I was driving, but like I had messaged people that I was like, I'm gonna get Starbucks. And then as I'm driving to Starbucks, I'm like, like out of this group of people, who would be in Final 3? And I just started to think, like, people would try to probably vote out, like, Wrath, Danny, maybe even Vintage. And I'm just like, how are they gonna carry the votes? Such, So it was interesting. I'm just like, am I gonna be voted out anytime soon? Because, like, people fought to keep me because, just because I guess I'm like a number in their arsenal, but at the end of the day, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'll just vote whatever feels like right to me. I'm with Sharon Bondi once again. But, it's just like, I don't want to, I already told people, like, I'm just not going to give up at this point. Maybe if I am feeling it, I'll probably be a little messy, but like, not right now. I'm not in the mood. So, just see what happens. Okay, when I woke up this morning at like 7 a.m., Jordy had told me that James kind of said Wrath's name. And naturally, I was just like, I'm gonna tell Wrath. So I just said to Wrath, like, your name's out there, just so you're aware. And he was just like, oh, it's not shocking that my name's out there. It's probably been pushed by like Mia or Danny, whatever the fuck. And I was just like, yeah, anyways, I gotta go to work, bye. I didn't elaborate like where it came from, which is my bad. And I'll get into that in a bit. So then I work all day. I didn't really message anyone on my break because I was just kind of going through something at work. But I'm mostly over that now, and it's it's a new day, and essentially I come back, and essentially I heard that everybody and their mother is going to get a vote tonight. First I thought, it was Wrath, whatever. Then I heard it's gonna be like James, Mia, Jordy, and I'm like, whoa. Hold the phone, and I didn't really because when you give me a list like that, I don't know what to do. I'm just like, okay, I understand Wrath, I understand James, I understand Mia, I understand Jordy, why they would want to be voted out. But it's like, literally, y'all had all day to do this. Y'all had all day to talk. By now, y'all should know that I'm a working woman getting that bag. So, y'all should have decided and been like, okay, girl, this is how it's going to be. And then tell me. But that just wasn't the case. And of course, everybody has a different view. And Gumby was first like, I would prefer Jordy. And I'm like, that makes sense. Jordy is a reasonable answer, I guess. And then I went to Mason. Mason was just kind of like, are you down for Wrath? And I'm just like, I don't know, because I'm hearing X, Y, Z. And then he's like, it makes sense to split the Mia versus Jordy vote. And, I honestly, before he even said that, I thought about doing that. Just because, Gumby had also told me that, oh, Wrath is going to convince you to vote Mia. And I'm just like, okay, I guess I'll just say I'm going with it, to keep the peace with me, I guess. And, yeah, so that's how, that conclusion ended up happening, Jordy versus Mia. So now, and then, randomly Mia messaged me. I was like, hey, so I heard, I may be going around, what's up with that? And I was just like, and I straight up told her, I don't know what decided in me to be yeah, girl, I heard it's gonna be you versus another person. Another person has yet to be decided. And what does she do? He acts the whole tribe in tribal, and it's just hey, what the fuck, y'all? What the fuck is going on? Why are you voting me? What is it about me that you guys want to vote out? And I'm just like, oh, girl, I'm sorry, but I literally just said I just heard you, and versus another person. I'm just a contestant here. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Just how at work, I'm just I just work here. I don't know what the fuck you want from me. I'm just a contestant. I don't know. I don't have an opinion. Girl, I wanted to quit a couple rounds ago. I still kind of do, but I'm just chilling. I'm trying not to take this game so personally now. And I understand, for someone who wants to play, and of course, you mentioned that this game is getting personal because of something that happened between Wrath and Mia. And I'm just oh my god, I just don't want to be a part of this. We can't have a normal tribal. So this is kind of making me feel a bit uneasy. I give this experience a 0 out of 10. So hopefully, the duel can just happen. I'm not involved, and we can go from there. Also, while this is happening, Johnny is hey, we should do a James vote. And I'm just one at a time. I can only deal with so much one at a time, or deal with so much at a time. While Wrath and me are arguing, he's just yeah, if we get 4 votes and blah blah blah, we could do this and vote James out because he's being under the radar, and he seems to be a jury favorite, blah blah blah. Which, I mean, in all honesty, valid argument, but like we have bigger fish to fry here. James is not very challenge beastie. Like, I mean, he's better than me, but like he's not gonna beat like Mia or Jordy and whatnot, and we should get those people out, in my opinion. But at the same time, I'm not going super hard on it because it's like it's just a game. Like, I'm just coasting along and making the most of it, but like not really, because I kind of want to like be voted out. But like, at the same time, I'm not trying to make it obvious that I want to be voted out because people didn't like that I wanted to fucking quit. But yeah, I can't win here, so it's just messy all around. Yeah.
What's up, guys? This is my episode 10 confessional. This is a very messy tribal for me, so I'd love to get into it. But yeah, very chaotic. Anyways, to start this episode off, we had the the music challenge where we had to like guess the music notes of what we thought the song was. That was really hard, dude. I had 4 of the right. There's 5 different like ringtones you got to get right, and I only had 4 of them. And so I was guessing for the last one. I swear I tried every possibility, dude, but I guess it just never went through. I guess I just missed one. I don't know. But yeah, dude, I ended up doing that thing for like an hour, just trying every combination, dude, and I couldn't get it. So I was like, dude, someone definitely has won this already. Someone's probably already figured it out before me, so I just gave up. You know, it was a hard challenge. Got to give it to the production team. They cooked up a pretty good challenge. But yeah, and then I felt better because I think like 6 other people also didn't finish it. So, you know, makes me feel better about myself not finishing it. Especially because I've had a couple challenges where I've gotten a 0. So, is what it is. Anyways, getting into the vote is where things got really messy. I feel like this entire game, dude, I've kind of been like taking a back seat almost, letting other people make the moves, letting other people, you know, throw names out, letting other people make alliances. I just like, I don't know. Something about Final 10 is like, dude, it's finally, we're getting closer to merge. Like, at this point, I gotta start making moves. I gotta start building a resume, or else people are gonna think I'm just, you know, I'm a goat. People are gonna think I'm just like following everybody and not, you know, making my own choices in this game. Also because like taking a backseat has not worked out well for me in this game at all. Taking a backseat has gotten me voted out, and it's also gotten me nominated. So like, shit, dude, I'm obviously not playing the game hard enough. I gotta play harder because, you know, if I don't, people aren't gonna respect me or the game I'm playing. So Final 10, I'm like, dude, this is definitely the perfect time to make a move. And with the duo being out there too, like, that kind of sucks. Especially because, like, then the person trying to make a move on might be able to come back. But it also means you need less people in on your plan to vote them out. So, basically, I thought about it for a little bit. I'm like, who do I trust the least? Who do I think is a big threat in this game? Who would be a big move for my resume? And I think Wrath, dude. Wrath was, originally he was like mid-tier of my trust rankings, and then once he nominated me, he went straight to the bottom. So, because of that, I'm like, dude, Wrath's the perfect person to take out right now. Good for my resume. Someone I don't really trust in this game because he nominated me. So, I started going out to people, trying to get people to vote him out. I first go to Mia because I know Mia and him have beef. And Mia's completely down for it. Like, she's the one person who I know 100% was in on the plan and sucked the plan completely. Or wanted to, at least. And then I told Jordy, Mason, and Danny. I probably only needed to tell 2 of them, but they were the people that I felt closest with in this game. So I ended up just, you know, talking to them, asking them what their opinions were on it. And keep in mind, they're all Season 3 people. Screw Season 3 people, by the way. But somehow, it gets back to Wrath that I want him out. It's not a really, that's a terrible look for me. Like, dude, terrible look. Now that Wrath knows. And the worst part is, like, he was saying that multiple people told him. I don't know if that's a lie or not, but I'm kind of taking his word for it. So, like, if multiple people told him to, that means, like, multiple people I'm close to are just not as close with me as I thought they were. So, originally I knew I could cross off Mia because Mia really wanted, I could tell Mia like wanted Wrath out as well. So I knew Mia didn't leak it. And then leaves me with Jordy, Danny, and Mason. Mason's known for leaking stuff, so I kind of at least figured he told him something. And you leave like, he said multiple people, so I mean it had to be like, you know, one more person at least, minimum. So it's given between Jordy and Danny. And I just think about my past with Danny. He's lied to me before, he's voted me out. You know, Jordy's been pretty good to me. He's been pretty honest with me the entire game. Pretty close with him. I know that for a fact. So I figured, you know what, it's probably Danny and Mason. My best guess. I mean, either way though, it didn't matter because now that Wrath's name was out, plan's completely in shambles. You know, no one else is gonna vote for him again after it got back to Wrath, and he's not pissed. So now I'm kind of in plan B mode where I'm trying to figure out what else do I do, how do I survive, because it's a duel. You know, it could be 3 or 4 votes and you go in. So my best strategy at that point is just to figure out what everyone else wants to do and try to find a way to see if, you know, people don't want to bring up my name, which sucked because there was a plan to get me out, I'm pretty sure. At least from what I'm told. I mean, obviously Wrath was pissed at me because I wanted him out and got back to him, so I assumed he was on me. I know people told me Gumby was on me, and people like Johnny. So, you know, at that point I'm just kind of doing whatever. And alliances are being made throughout this entire time. Vintage made an alliance with me, Mia, Jordy, and himself and Johnny, which again was a stupid alliance, by the way, because Johnny was never loyal to us. He wanted me out the entire time. So we made that alliance just to try to figure out a vote between everyone, just to get someone into the duel. But then we also made a different alliance between me, Mia, and Jordy. That was one I like felt way better about because I'm closest with them, and I knew they had my back in the vote. But originally, the plan was, you know, that we're gonna get votes onto Gumby, send him into the duel. But things got interesting. My name came out and Jordy's name came out, so they were just trying to pin us against each other, trying to get us to vote each other, basically. By they, I mean like everybody, like Wrath, Danny, Gumby, probably Mason too. He's telling me to vote Jordy. Like I had like 3 or 4 people minimum telling me to vote Jordy, and a lot of people telling Jordy to vote me, which is like, obviously we kind of caught on to that like right away. And I was never gonna vote Jordy in the first place because, you know, I trust him. From what I know, he's been loyal to me. So that was never gonna happen. And it was obvious why they were doing it, because they didn't have enough votes to split and get 2 people out that they wanted, because they wanted Mia in the duel as well. So basically it was those 3 names thrown out: me, Jordy, Mia, which is our entire alliance I feel good about, by the way, which sucks, which means at least one of us is going into the duel regardless. And one of them could potentially be me, so that's also kind of dangerous. But no, yeah, I mean, you realize that, you know, they don't have enough votes to split, so they're trying to get us to vote each other and to make it easier for themselves. So we end up just, you know, saying, fuck it, we're gonna vote someone and just hope it's not one of us, and whoever does it, you know, has to beat him. So originally it's Gumby, and then, but like, you know, Johnny was told, and I don't trust Johnny. No one trusted Johnny, really. And it was obvious Johnny was kind of gonna like leak it to everyone, so he leaked it to people, and everyone knew Gumby's name was out. So I was like, dude, it makes so much more sense to switch the votes onto someone else in case like an advantage is played. He plays like idol shards or like an idol for himself, dude. Like then then I'm going up against Mia or Jordy, or Mia and Jordy are going up against each other, and that's just like, not ideal at all because I'm losing an ally either way. So I was like, you know, let's switch the vote. You know, let's go on Danny. I kind of figured he leaked it to Wrath, so I was like, dude, let's go on Danny. I mean, I don't know how much I can trust the guy. So I asked Jordy. He's like, yeah, let's do it. And then we get Mia and Vintage on board. 4 votes for Danny. And the vote turnout comes a little crazy. It's 4-3 to 2-2, with me getting 2 votes, Jordy getting 2 votes, me getting 3, and Danny getting 4. And turns out Danny was never supposed to vote me, but got back to him that I started the lead on getting Danny out, or voting for Danny. He got pissed, dude. So he voted for me. I think he was trying to swing Mason last second too. And I guess Mason never voted me. He voted me instead, and because of that, I'm not in the duel. So that's a good look for me, I guess. Like, I mean, I guess I dodged a bullet there, but got Mason to thank for that. Anyways, get to the duel, and it's Survivor themed, dude. Say the full name of a contestant on Survivor. Danny's like some Survivor whiz, dude. So he's like easily gonna kill me. You know, he put in the wrong person, to be honest. Like, we probably should have just stuck with Gumby, or like, I don't know, even go back to Wrath or something. Like, we should have just done something like that. But yeah, and I mean, Mia got out. It's just unfortunate, man. It is what it is. Can't do much about it. Anyways, that's my confessional. Thanks.
Yo, what's up, lads? A lot happened this cycle. I'm gonna update you on everything. It's gonna be really cooked, really fire. Let's go into what happened from beginning to end, because man, I'm a genius. Just gonna say it. So basically what happened at the end of the last cycle is that Mia and Ethan went into the block. They both had some very sour things to say about Mia, of course, and Jordy, apparently, from what Mia's POV was. And Ethan went home, which is what I wanted. I was okay with that. Ethan said, you know, some very things. But like, I got my way on it. I got my way. And like, that's just how the game, I mean, whatever. I'm sorry, but anyways, the cycle then continues. We have a challenge, and I get second place behind Johnny, so I'm starting to look like a challenge to it, of course. People were already putting my name on the block and everything, and then my name came out officially by James, apparently. And things were looking very, you know, not so good until after, basically, Mason, Rocky, everyone leaked it to me that my name was on the block. I went to James, was like, hey, I'm getting told by numerous people you put my name on the block. Then he comes clean and he backs down. Like, he for some reason backed down from the vote. And instead of wanting to vote for me anymore, he wanted to go with his own direction. And that was fine by me. That was pretty cool. I was okay with it. Whatever. I mean, he backs down and everything. But in the process of him doing that, basically what happened is Danny made a blindside leak on Jordy. He leaked it to Jordy. Jordy leaked it back to me, even though I already knew about it. Then they made an alliance with Vintage, who didn't want for James to go on, well, not James, he just didn't want Jordy to go on the block, and he said it's really bad for us if Jordy goes on the block. So then he made a plan to have, all of them vote for Gumby. Didn't work. Then all of them vote for Danny, and if supposedly it did work, and Johnny's involved with it, but Johnny wants James. So then what we did is we had Johnny vote with Mason and an extra vote, and like Gumby and all of them, and they're gonna vote 4 people onto 4 people on James. I'm gonna put 4 votes on Mia because Jordy gave me an extra vote. I have a vote Rocky, and Mason's gonna use his extra vote on Mia anyways, making it 4 there. And then they're gonna have their 4 on Danny and make a 3-way tie. That will break the tie basically because James and Mia can't both be on the block together. Well, no, basically all 3 of them can be on the block, but they're not going to be able to vote. So James and Mia can't vote, which means 2 votes on Danny go away instead of, 1. And they lose their 2, but we only lose our 1, which means we have enough votes to win the conflict, basically. So yeah, I mean, we're cooking it up if this actually goes according to plan and I'm not blindsided. So we're going to see, hopefully, James and Mia on the block. We'll see how things pan out with Mia after this vote, because holy shit, things are not looking good. They called me out on a lot of stuff. Dylan probably knows I also blindsided his ass because Mia did that and leaked it to him. He said I had cold feet, but like, oh dear, oh no. Who cares? I was laughing, and also they were like name calling me and saying mean things about me because I told them that they were being kind of an ass to me. I didn't even call them an ass. I said, you're kind of being an ass. Like, whatever, it's the same thing, I guess. But then they also said, like, I called them disgusting when I said I literally said, like, what they're doing to me is, like, gaslighting. It's kind of disgusting to me. Like, that's what it feels like. The action is not them. So to say, like, they thought that I said that was kind of weird. And then also, like, I don't know, the other insulting saying I'm a simp, I'm a lowlife, whatever the fuck. Like, those were pretty uncalled for. So we'll see what happens. But that's kind of my rant for now. That's about it, actually. But yeah, basically it's going to be 4-4-4. We'll see if we can get what we want again. Otherwise, I get blindsided, and who gives a shit? Which is funny because I'm just ready for this season to be over, or for me to get to like the final 9, final 8. Because if I do, then I have a chance to win this thing. But we'll see. I'm rambling. I ramble a lot. I'll talk to you guys later.
And just like that, our poor Mia was booted from the game after losing in the dueling arena when she was sent there with Danny during this cycle after a double blindside again during this season 2. These people are crazy. Shout out to Mia. You're always super fun to host, and I know it's a range of emotions to play this game, but you're very authentic and genuine, and we enjoy having you. So thank you for playing, and maybe we'll see you again. Who knows? But anyways, that is it for this episode. Please make sure to check out the next episode, and we will see you over there. Bye.